Hey y'all, welcome back to the Hebert house. Today we have another Nanny Chronicle ready for you guys. I love Nanny's wisdom and advice, and I just love sharing it with you guys as well. So we're gonna be talking about school days today. So we're gonna get into it, but first make sure you hit that subscribe button down below so you don't miss any videos from the Hebert house. I'm Lelia, I'm the mom here at the Hebert house, and we share a little bit about our little corner of the world, cleaning, organizing, family life, and advice, and also our trying to conceive journey to Hebert house baby number 2. So this is Nanny, my grandmother, who we are so blessed that gets to live with us. And she has been bestowing her wisdom upon me for 34 years. And I love doing these videos where she can share it with others. So I thought today we would talk about school days and her advice and her wisdom for mothers who are still in the throes of school time with their kids. So Nanny had 2 daughters. She had, and they were 4 years apart, right?
I think, yeah,
yes.
about that.
4 years apart. And so the first question I have, Nanny, is just, do you have any advice for moms that are raising girls? Because you had 2 girls, and do you have any advice as far as school days and advice for moms who are raising girls?
That's kind of hard to say because I never had any boys, but I did have 5 brothers, so that kind of tells me something. I think you do have to instill on them. I don't know, it seems like everything is kind of different with a girl, you know, you into what you tell them to teach them, you know, the do's and the don'ts. So
what were the biggest do's and don'ts you shared with your girls?
Oh, that's so hard because that's all I ever knew.
Well, tell us, what is it?
Well, you know, to always have manners and teach everybody with respect. Even if you don't know them, you should treat them with love and friendship.
Nanny definitely lives by that policy.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yes. So it's just, it's kind of like just meeting someone, and when you had someone that you knew was going to be your neighbor or you know, living nearby, you wanted to befriend them because you felt that that's what you were going to be, was friends.
I think that advice in itself is so important for mothers, especially of girls. I am lucky enough not to have a girl yet. I mean, I would love for God to bless me with a little girl, but friends of mine who do have little girls that are in high school and middle school and even elementary school, nowadays being a girl is really hard. Like, the pressures of it, and little girls, from what I understand, are not very nice to each other. So teaching them to be nice to each other is imperative. So I think that's definitely very important.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so a little bit more about Nanny is Nanny worked the entire time her daughters were being raised, which was actually rare back in that time, right? Because usually mothers were at home with their children.
Mostly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how did you make that work? Like, what is your advice of how to make being a working mom work?
Well, the main thing was to have a husband that allows you to work and will support you in what he can do to help you.
Yeah. So.
And he was a working man himself, and he never had any idle time. He was always real busy. And of course, if he did have idle time, it wasn't really idle because he was what I would call a sports fisherman. I mean, they went on tours and out of town and so forth.
So he was fishing.
Yeah.
So basically what you're saying is you had to do most of it.
I had to do, yeah.
Basically. So how did you get it all done?
Well,
how were there enough hours in the day?
It was amazing. I, of course, had the Lord to help me because of the fact that, you know, I had a husband that he might not have been there all the time, but I knew where he was at.
Yeah.
And he always did what he could for me if it was something that I was doing that he could get someone else to do without any problems, he would.
He would help in that.
He would always help in that area, yeah.
What about your girls? Did they help out at home, around the house?
If they wasn't in school, yes, they were at home, because in those days it still takes probably close to the same amount of time, but it was harder because I could go into detail and I won't to tell you why.
Yes.
But yeah, they were there, but not a long length of time.
Sure. Both of her daughters, my mom and her sister, Nanny's daughter Vicky, got married very young, so they weren't at home a long time. Mm-hmm. All right. What was something you would tell a high school aged girl, or a mother of a high school aged girl? What advice would you give to them?
In what area? Like, of course, it's very important to get more education if you can. But, of course, I'd say you should finish your high school. But I didn't do that because I got married so young. Okay. But
Nanny got married at 15.
But I went back to school. I didn't let that stop me. Okay. I went to, I finished school. I can't remember what they called it back then.
The GED? You got your GED, right?
Yes, I did.
She sure did. I'm so proud of her.
Then I went to work for the Richmond County Rec Department, and I went, up further and took courses, and until I became their director of the class at that time.
Yeah. So, obviously, that just goes to show you to never give up, because that's just such an incredible story of getting married at 15, and you had only went through middle school at that point, correct? Like, you had only went through, like, grade school?
Oh, I was in high school, but I can't remember all the details.
Yeah, at 15, and so she went back and finished, which is so awesome.
Yes.
That's so great, Nanny.
Yeah.
You remember
and then went on, more, so whenever I was working.
I hope I'm as great as you one day.
You will be.
All right, so last but not least, I would love for you to tell us your advice for a mom who just feels overwhelmed, can't do it all, because obviously Nanny, like I said, worked out of the home. She worked an hour away from her home one way, so she'd have to go all the way from the country into the city and back, still maintained a career with 2 growing girls who were in school, a husband, and she taught Sunday school. Mm-hmm. And she went to church, and she was part of the ladies' circle, so she did it all. So, and I'm sure that at times it was very overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
So, what is your advice to moms who just feel like they are overwhelmed and just cannot do it?
Well, first thing, I always say first things first. You've heard that all your life. It's God.
Yep, I knew she was going to say that. But it's so true.
That is so true. I would find myself not knowing I'd have so much to do. Nobody at home but me now. Everybody else was gone. My husband was at work, my children were in school, and nobody there but me, but so much to be done. And so I would say, God, I don't know what to do first. I have so much to do. He said, well, just look up to me first. And I did. And you know what? I would usually accomplish today.
Yeah. That's so inspiring, and I hope that it inspires you if you're a mom. Even if you're not a mom and you're just a viewer that is watching it of me, I mean, I think those are such inspiring words, just to look up and to reach out to God.
Absolutely.
That's pretty great. Yeah, that's pretty good advice there, Nanny.
Well, thank you. The best there is.
So, I will finish this by something that I learned from Nanny a long time ago. When I was actually in middle school, and I was struggling through some stuff, Nanny told me at this very first time that you just have to keep on keeping on. Basically, to look up, to say a prayer, to put your shoulders back, and to keep on pushing forward. And that's actually what Nanny's done her entire life. She's been through many hardships, from living through the Great Depression to helping raise her 6 brothers and sisters, to getting married at 15, to having children, to working, to losing 2 husbands, and to everything she's done in her life. She's just kept on keeping on. So I hope that this encourages a mama out there, or just a woman, or even a man who may be going through a hard time, to just keep on keeping on, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You got anything else to add?
Yes.
Okay.
And I've even lost a daughter, so, you know,
Yes.
that just kind of, you don't think that's going to happen to you because you know that you're older, but it can.
Yeah, so it sure can. And look at her. She's still going on. Nanny actually lost her daughter, and I lost our son a day apart. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yep. Yep. So we have been weathering this journey together, and I'm so glad to have my best friend to weather this journey with. So thank you for doing this interview and encouraging others, Nanny.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you too.
I hope y'all have a great day. God bless.